Hey there. So I wasn't sure if I was going live there or not, but happy Tuesday to you. And as soon as it went to start filming, it said trying to reconnect. So hopefully I'm on here and I can bring you a double feature. Today might be a double feature for the fact that I have some projects lined up that are for upcoming classes, past classes, and my desktop is full. So I love showing you guys what I've been up to and the inspiration that I've been getting from all these fun projects because there's so much that after I film, then I can make up a few cards of that and then clear it up, clean it up, and then get ready to recreate again. And that's kind of how my cycle goes for my creation and my space in my crafting room too, how it allows for creativity. We all know, like, if our house is clean, don't we almost get like more productive? Like, I don't feel like, oh, my house is clean, now I'm gonna watch a movie, although sometimes I do feel that way. Anyway, all right, so what I have for you is a double feature. So as you can see, YOU, there's a big U that appears on both of these cards. So I'm going to kind of, like I said, do a double feature. And if time allows, I would maybe like to come back again today and show you a totally different card. Like I said, just to keep the inspiration going. And because I have time. Originally today I was supposed to have Stamp Camp here in my home, and numbers weren't very good for in-home attendees, and so if you are in that boat where, yeah, it just didn't work for you and you still want to attend my in-home Stamp Camp, I have moved it to next Tuesday. When the numbers were low, I was kind of looking at how crazy. I just did an event in Fairmont in person, and then the turnaround time would have been super quick too. We're moving our middle son off to college, and just a lot of moving pieces and things to attend and things that have come up. And so I thought, let's forget the crazy. So when you see me going live and think, weren't you supposed to have Stamp Camp today? So yeah, I was planning on being home, but like I said, there's a lot of in between being home and prepping for my events. So the prep time is a pretty big deal, hours and hours of die cutting and all that kind of stuff. And I love to make treats, if you know that, for my in-person events. And so I just knew I couldn't make that all happen. But anyway, so let me get to making the cards. Hi there, Diane. Here you go. All right, so let me get my camera turned around. That's enough of me talking about that. Let's see. Hold on. It said something about resonance. I've never seen that come up on my videos before, so that was interesting. But yeah, if you ever have sound or voice quality issues, please let me know, because that's something that I assume everything goes okay unless I hear different, right? Okay, so these are the two cards that I'm going to make for you. I'll show this one front and center first. You are simply fantastic. And here's the big U. I thought that'd be kind of fun to pair that up with the You Are Simply Fantastic, to have a big U on there. Hi there, Elizabeth. And then Let's Celebrate You. So as you can see, one thing's going to make the other thing, right? And I'll walk you through that. Now this fun, pretty paper, let me start with that. This is from the 6x6 Everyday Skies Designer Series paper, and this is an online exclusive. I never know how long online exclusives are going to last. This came out earlier this year, so it's been around for a while, and I'll be honest, I was kind of upset with myself because it was so pretty. I was holding on to it. I'm sure everybody can relate, but now I've been cutting it up. So we've got skies that look like that. This kind of reminds me of going to Hawaii and seeing the sunrise, the Haleakala, however you pronounce that, on Maui. Anyway, but yeah, lots of fun designs that way. And like darker, lighter, pinker, purple, or blues, and so even like the cards I'm making here, I kind of, oops, not that light, chose some that are like more light so that the ink would show up on what I'm creating and such there. So that is the Designer Series paper, like I said, in 6x6. And then the everyday arches, the dies are those arches, as you know. I'm not going to pull those out, but because I've used those a ton, and I know that you're familiar with what those are. A lot of people have been buying just the arches because they don't know how fantastic the stamp set is. And sometimes I get that, especially with shapes. I'll say, do I really need the stamp set? But then usually I'll see something, or it just the way it pairs up, then I'll be mad that I didn't do the bundle right away and get the 10% savings. So if you can relate to that, I'm sure. And so for this is the stamp set. So You Are Simply Fantastic is what I'm using on the first card here. Well, one of the cards, I'll just say that because I'm not sure which one I'm going to start with yet. Okay, so You Are Simply Fantastic. And then these birds. These birds pair so well with the paper that after I've stamped it, it almost looks like it is part of the paper, which is super cool. So I just wanted to show you that as well. So what I'm going to do, I think, is maybe start with this, just so you can kind of see how it all comes together. And as I do that, the other products that I'm going to use is the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. I'm only going to emboss about this much, but as you can see, like I could put 2 of these through at the same time because this is so large. And then the other main component of my card is, and I just used this recently, the Party Alphabet dies. They're huge, right? Huge, huge. So you can see like a card is small compared to the huge set. And so I've just pulled out the Y, the O, and the U. So those are how those things are used today. So let me pull over my cut and emboss machine and my large embossing folder here, and I'm using some Blueberry Bushel cardstock, and I cut this 4 by 5 1/4 before I put it in the folder. Oops, just feels funky. There we go. Just felt like it was too big, and I'm like, okay, I know this is how it should be layered. Okay, all right, got that going through there. And then we have this nice, it's a 3D embossing folder, so we've got nice grooves going there. Love that. I love my 3D embossing folders. Okay, so now I'm going to come back with my cut and emboss machine and layer it differently. So I'm going to take out like my embossing components and change it to cutting components. Yeah, they're a lot bigger. Elizabeth said they're a lot bigger than I realized. So when you think of cards, like there's different things where it's like, oh, you know, you have to really think through what's going to fit on a regular size card. If you're doing scrapbooking, like big letters like this are awesome. But even then, sometimes maybe too big, but it just kind of stretches. But I want to come up with some banners for home decor for the different seasons, and I'm really excited about that. I don't do a lot of extra projects for crafting like that during the summer because I want to kind of be like present outside in the summer, but like tomorrow it's going to rain, and so I can picture myself doing a lot of raining or last minute back to college shopping, one or the other or both. All right, so the side benefit of using this folder, I just liked it because the paper was blue. It looked kind of masculine, so I wanted an embossing folder that could be used for guys and not too frilly. But what the added benefit is, this has a line going through there, so when I go to cut out my letters, the Y and the O and the U, then I have something that will help me line it up. And I thought, oh, how cool is that? Because like if all of us, if you're like me, lining things up doesn't naturally come easily, and I could get out my ruler, I could get out all sorts of things, but if you know me at all, like I want to get things done, and if it takes longer to kind of measure or get things situated, then I've already kind of lost my excitement about the project. So I'm all about let's hurry and get it done. All right, so I'm going to crank this through. And then I got my Y, my O, my U. All right, so sometimes I will go like that, but I think I've cut these out enough where sometimes it'll pop them out, and so you guys are like, what is she doing that for? And I do it because sometimes, oh yeah, well maybe there was, so that one just fell out. And sometimes if I drop it on its side just enough, it'll pop it out. But they're kind of snug because like anything, I've been using these to make a lot of die cuts and in preparation for classes and such. So if yours gets sticky, hi there, Lynette. One of my tips is to take some, and I always have just like a little bit laying here on my desk as a scrap, but parchment paper, and then I put that in between my letter and my cardstock, and then it just shimmies right out of there. It's kind of like using a non-stick pan, so keep that in mind. All right, so the card that I am making first, like I said, I'm going to make two. I'm going to make two out of this. So I think I'm going to put these letters aside for now. I love the DSP, and I want to kind of show as much as I can. So if I put this on here and then put this over top, then I was a little bit worried, like I have to be so exact with laying over the cardstock so that it matches perfectly for how I've got it cut and everything. And so I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to take and trim like a 1/4 inch off the bottom here, and that's going to allow me to have some extra of the pretty paper showing. And I didn't do it off the top because I want to save this area for part of our greeting for the card too. All right, so here I've got my let me guess the color. Azure Afternoon. Here we go. Azure Afternoon. The blueberry bushel. So for those of you that want to know the names, and so now I can be ready to tack this down. All right. I say that I'm ready to tack it down, but I don't have a lot of adhesive in there. We'll see how far this gets me. I always have like 100 refills ready to go, though. Anybody else? All right. And now this I'm not popping up or anything, so I'm just going to take and run my adhesive along like the sides and the edges here. And I can kind of, without getting glue, I can kind of scoot lightly my adhesive, and it'll just kind of keep dragging a little thread along there. And then I can go over some of those inserts, like I don't know why, but on the Y sometimes that wants to pop up. So I want to get a little adhesive kind of all over that. And then I'm just going to center it. The top and the bottom are going to stick out from that Designer Series paper. And there we've got it lined up. Just going to kind of shove it across there. Now we don't have anything sticking out of the sides, just the top and bottom, which was how I wanted it to be, like so. And then this center point that came out of my letter O, I can just take and put some adhesive on that and just put that in there. And then that is good to go. So now we've got the big U on there. So when it came to, okay, now happy birthday to, and it could be you, or I was trying to think what can go with that. Then I thought, oh, a lot of times I pull out the stamp set. Actually, the stamp set rarely gets put away. Simply Said is so great for inside and outside sentiments. And a lot of times I will make a birthday card up for somebody, and then in the inside I will include Let's Celebrate. But I thought, hey, let's use the Let's Celebrate for the front side of the card, and then it'll say Let's Celebrate You. Now, because of some of the colorings in these papers from Everyday Skies, I chose to go with Very Vanilla instead of the basic white here. So I just have, let me remeasure this, about a 1/2 inch, maybe just a hair over a 1/2 inch. Hi there, Margaret. Thanks for joining in. So I'm just taking a scrap, knowing that I can cut off the edges. When I do classes, I tend to give people long strips so that there's no stress in getting it put together just on one little skinny piece. And I know you still have to get it the up and down, but that seems to help. All right, so now I am going to just snip that off there. I'm going to make sure that it's straight. Maybe just a little bit more. Because there's lines on the embossing folder, it'll be noticeable if it's not straight. Okay, so let me grab some dimensionals here. I'm gonna flip that over and put about 3 dimensionals on here and take those off. All right. And then that's going to just pop up in the corner. So now it's going to say, let's celebrate you. All right, so an embellishment that can sometimes be easily overlooked that I'm going to use here is the two-tone sparkle gems. I recently used those on a purple project with these big letters. And the two-tone I always thought was like blues and turquoises and such, but it matches up really nice also with purple. So I want to let you guys know that. But often I've been using it with my projects that are just blue. Hold on one second. I'm gonna see if my okay. I can't remember where my take your pick tool is. I get so spoiled by using them for my projects, and they're probably still packed from my last class. And I feel like I always put them in a different spot when I pack them up to take them home every time. So I'm just going to use my fingers like the old-fashioned way, and that's going to work for these. Sometimes it doesn't work as well, but for these it's pretty easy. But I love showing you how much I love my take your pick tool. All right, so I'm going to take 1 large embellishment and then 2 of the small. Let's celebrate you. I don't want it to get too sparkly. I love how it adds a little bit and it just blends in with the tones of those papers, the pretty paper underneath. And so if you were giving it to a guy, it's not going to be like too decked out if you want a more masculine looking card. And then for the inside from that same stamp set, Simply Said, I'm going to pull out my birthday wishes sentiment here and go back to my Blueberry Bushel ink pad and stamp birthday wishes. And then also those birds from the Everyday Arches. I think they're just so pretty. Just love those birds, and just kind of puts a little bit of motion into your card and kind of connects the sky background paper to this. So hopefully you like that look too. Just gonna seal that in. So that is, hello there, Becky. So this is card number 1. So I'm just gonna kind of set this aside and I'm gonna move right on to card number 2. Okay, so card number 1, I cut these out of the of this layer that I've embossed, and now I'm going to move on to this card here. And so with this one, I'm using that same paper, just a different design from the Everyday Skies. Even this is kind of fun. And then we're going to take the sentiment that I talked about from Everyday Arches. You are simply fantastic. And I put this because it's got kind of a funky, as you can see, arch to it. And it makes it a little bit larger. So I put it on a larger acrylic block. And then I like to just kind of tap my ink on here. Otherwise, if I do it the opposite way, chances are I'm going to get a lot of extra ink where I don't want it. And that usually doesn't make me very happy. Okay, so now this is cut down 4 by 5 1/4. And I forgot to tell you, this one is also the same, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I want this to get stamped as close as I can to this edge and kind of scooted up a little bit towards the top, because I want to ensure that I have enough space for my 3 big alphabet letters. So you are simply fantastic with the Blueberry Bushel ink, really shows up well on that. And so then now I'm going to get some, oops, I knew I'd run out of adhesive, but I always call my pit stops kind of a valuable lesson. Because like I have like my little pit crew here next to me as far as my tower of drawers, and like I said, I have a ton of them. I kind of feel like after watching Brad Pitt's F1 movie, like I don't move that fast, but it's like, okay, let's quickly get some new tires on and go again with my adhesive. All right, so I've got that. And for this card base, again, I'm using the Azure Afternoon, and I'm just going to put that on here like so. Okay, and then before I put my letters on, I'm going to stamp a few of those birds out. So I'm going to go up here a little bit with that blueberry bushel ink, a little bit down there, and then some up here. So that's on. So now we don't have to worry about scooting those extra images around where our letters are going to be. Okay, so let me grab my dimensionals again here, and wherever I can put the big ones, I like to put those on here. And because these letters are so big, the regular dimensionals will fit almost everywhere. Let's see here, but I did lay out the little ones too, because on the Y, sometimes going up into that, I just didn't want to risk having extra things sticking out too. So that works well. And I like to put all the dimensionals on and then peel all of the backs off at the same time so that I can kind of lightly arrange my letters without having them stick down. And then if I need to do a little bit of scooting one way or the other, then I have the option to still do that. One of my backs fell off and wanted to stick back, so it must have went back on the other side. Otherwise, I don't know if it would stick on there or not. Okay, almost done here. Okay, so I know I need to get my Y over here, and so I'm just gonna, like I said, just lightly put that, and I kind of want my U to be over as far as I can. And for the start, I'm just kind of eyeing where this is gonna look, and I know it looks like my Y already needs to be scooted up a little bit. And so when I just do that like so, actually that turned out pretty good. So now do you ever do that? Just like don't move. All right, so now I can just put that down, and all that adhesive is going to stick there. So you can still read that. We still have some birds for emotion, which I love that. And then I wanted to add some more of these sparkly two-tone sparkle gems. So I'm going to do one large one down here in the corner, and then just grab a couple and put those at the top above that, above that curve, kind of curving with the words a little bit like so. You are simply fantastic. And now for the inside, some more Very Vanilla, because like I said, I kind of felt like that kind of was the tone that the paper was taking, and I'm going to do that same inside. Birthday wishes here, and then just grabbing a couple birds to follow through with that pattern and design to finish the card here like so. All right, I'm gonna put that in, and of course my measurement for the inside is that same 4 by 5 1/4. Right, so I've got that, and we've got that. So here are my 2 cards, you guys. Like I said, it's so fun when you're needing to use like certain elements from one project to the next. And I often joke with you guys, like, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but it's going to show up in a different project. But I thought it would be fun to show you how 2 different projects do come about at the same time instead of 2 separate videos. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me get my camera turned around. And so I will end up just uploading this video to YouTube. And that's a reminder, if you don't follow my YouTube video channel, you can do that, because all of my Facebook videos only last for 30 days. So if you think, oh, I'll go back to that 30 days, especially especially if you have a busy summer and lots of activities going, that can just be gone in no time at all. So follow my YouTube channel, and then it'll last there a lot longer. So yeah, I'm going to download still shots of the cards and everything like I normally do, and do all that. If I get time today, I might come back with another fun bundle to show you guys. My inspiration next that I want to show you is that Pop and Buy bundle with the popcorn. So stay tuned. Take care. Bye-bye.